Now, face the mighty bison.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we have a major problem on our hands. Before we get to that, if you're new to this channel, subscribe. I'm going to be making videos like this pretty regularly. I want to expand and talk about what's going on in the greater gaming industry. But then also, let's get a little bit of good information out there. We got to talk about GTA 6. I know a lot of people were very upset when they found out that there would be no physical version of that game. And also, they have the ultimate for $100, and I was just as upset. I have an entire collection of all of the GTA games in nice packages, and I was looking to add GTA 6 to that collection. But now if I decide to go purchase GTA 6, it won't be a CD in there, it will just be a code. So it kind of like dampens the experience a little bit. But then also, for those of you who are wondering, we are 136 days away from that game. It seems like we're actually gonna get it. It seems like it's actually gonna happen. It would be crazy though if GTA did a last minute delay. That would be crazy, but I don't expect them to. So we just got to keep coasting until we reach that release date. In the meantime, though, let's talk about some of these crazy things that's happening. So for those of you who don't know, YouTube is currently urging everyone to respond to the proposed UK rules that it says could be forced on the platform and prioritize some channels over others. The company warns that changes could limit the growth and reduce how often content is recommended. And basically what this is talking about is there's this current thing going on with the UK. They are getting more and more controlling over what is seen on the internet, and now they're making their way to YouTube, where they're trying to figure out which content creators are a problem and which ones are okay. And basically they want to have control over what can be seen, and YouTube is trying to fight back against this by gathering its users to vote back through law, to vote back through policy. Another post here says, YouTube is pushing back at the UK's government censorship power grab. Its creator alert exposes UK plan, force American platform to bury independent's voice and shove state media down everyone's throat. Legacy broadcasters would get the algorithm thrown at the expense of independent creators. So you can see this is one of those battles between legacy media and independent media. This is a very, very intense back and forth that's happening because for the first time in history, legacy media is losing control over everything. And the UK is trying to force YouTube to make them more relevant and make them more recommended and diminish other voices. I just wanted to make a note of this because this is one of those moments in history where if this was to pass, if the UK was able to get what they want, you would see the platform change on a radical level and YouTube would be changed forever by it. And not only that, this would make any attacks on YouTube or the way the platform is structured more easy to do in the future. So if you guys want to support this, do more research and take the necessary time to figure out how you can help, and then make your decisions that way. But moving on now and talking about Xbox, just recently we were made aware that they were considering one, spinning off the company to be sold. That means separating it from Microsoft so it's easier to sell to someone else. But then also they were considering closing down multiple games. They said they would make their decision a couple of days later. Well, now it's a couple of days later and we have our answer. The Xbox CEO wants Xbox to reach 1 billion players per day. It currently reaches 1 billion players a year, so you can see where the problem lies. The Wall Street Journal revealed that Game Pass for Xbox has currently 30 million subscribers, so that's very, very low. Another person highlighted that a couple of years ago, the report says 34 million, so they lost 4 million in a couple of years. With how weak Xbox is in its current state, it has resulted in Microsoft laying off about 4,800 employees today. 1,600 of those employees are solely from Xbox. Some of the things that's important to note is Double Fine and Conclusion Games are going independent. That's a big thing. And then Microsoft is selling Ninja Theory and Undead Labs. Ninja Theory made one of my favorite games recently, which is Bleeding Edge, but they're most known for making things like Hellblade. This is also pretty interesting because a couple of years ago, Xbox purchased so many different studios and they were flexing with everything that they now have. But as you can see, it made them too big and they're trying to get rid of a lot of it. If you guys want to pause and look at these 3 screenshots for more detail, you could definitely do so because there's a lot that's being said here. Now, Jeff Keighley has another report here which says Xbox is set to lay off 3,200 employees, 20% of its workforce, as a part of a company reset. In addition, Xbox is spinning off and or selling 5 of its first-party studios: Arcane Land, Compulsion Games, Double Fine, Ninja Theory, and Undead Labs. Xbox also going to say, and this is a quote, "None of our first party publicly announced games or projects are being canceled as a part of these reductions." But regardless of that, a lot of people are still very, very concerned about what's going on, because even if you don't play Xbox or even if you don't care about Xbox, we still kind of need them to stay competitively like here so that PlayStation could be challenged. Because as we see with how weak Xbox is getting, PlayStation is growing in power, and more power means more control and a bigger monopoly. And we see what they're doing. We'll talk about that in just a second. But one more thing I wanted to highlight from Xbox is for their video game Blade. It is reported that Arcane's Marvel Blade has gone over budget and has been delayed internally, which has resulted in Arcane now undergoing evaluation to be sold off as well. So Xbox is not done yet with the reshaping of their company, and we're bound to get more news in the future. As for Bethesda, it will be refocused with the Xbox changes today and will now be prioritizing games like Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein. Now, as we shift our topic to their competitors, PlayStation, who 5 days ago announced one of the worst changes in gaming history. They were hit by a community note on Twitter. Their post has 152.6 million views on Twitter. This is more views than the GTA 6 trailer when that dropped, to put it in perspective of how much backlash they're getting. So many different people, so many different companies, so many different everything has spoken out against this. And as a result, PlayStation went absolutely silent. They have not said a thing in the past 5 days, and that silence is now being mocked, with Domino's Pizza and other people around the internet taking jabs at them by saying PlayStation are still very quiet. Perhaps they stayed up to watch the England game. I'm happy to see people continuously put pressure on them, and I'm happy to see the people aren't not letting them go. Even though you do have some stupid people out there like Polygon, who is basically supporting PlayStation. In this tweet here, they say, "I won't mourn PlayStation CD drives, PlayStation disc." In the comment section of a lot of this, people are saying, "Screw you," unfollowed, and basically calling them out for rage bait. You also have other news outlets saying, "Instead of reading this nonsense, sign a petition to help save physical games." With all the changes that's going on, the landscape is quickly evolving, but for PlayStation in particular, people are expecting them to basically not revert course. People are looking back to some of the previous controversies that they got into, and their tactic was to just stay silent and let it blow over. I mean, for the Helldiver situation, they went silent for 2 years and they never addressed it, even to this day. And with the situation that's going on right now with Marvel Tokon, they are silent about that and they're not addressing it. People had access to the beta. They don't have access to the actual game. There's people from many different regions of the world who's very good at that game and who did well in betas and this and that, and they don't have access to it. Nothing from Sony, nothing from PlayStation. So they probably will just try to stay silent and hope the internet forget. You have a lot of people talking about it right now, like especially Domino's. It's good when another corporation is making fun of another corporation because that solidifies the backlash a little bit more. But as we saw previously, they're not really considering walking it back because they're giving an order to some of their factories to stop making CDs and start making other things. And then for Xbox, these guys have been going down the drain for a long time. It all started with the transition from 360 to Xbox One. They had this huge idea of, let's make our console for video games a TV center, and they pushed very hard on that aspect. Connect as well, and both of those things didn't go so well. And ever since then, it's just been bad idea after bad idea, bad game after bad game, and that just allowed PlayStation to get to where they are today, to where they're running rampant. They're making some of the worst decisions we've seen in all of gaming, and we're fearing other companies following suit. But the reason why I don't think Steam will follow suit is because Steam is a bigger company. Steam is also a private company, which means they don't have shareholders and all those things. They also are mega rich. Like, there's different types of rich. You have corporations that's worth millions, some billions, and you have some that's like worth the size of a country, right? You could put a country net worth next to Apple. That's kind of like where Steam is at. So they don't really need to do some of the stuff that PlayStation is doing because their power lies in other places and their wants in other places. So we will see how this evolves. I think over time we'll see more and more people just leave consoles behind, especially once these new consoles come out and they don't have that many games and the specs aren't that good and they're charging for online, they're charging for this, you don't own that. We're just going to see more people gradually shift over to PC, and with the way the technology is advancing, PC is going to be really good. You won't need a huge PC. You will be able to have a little small Steam Deck on your decks, and then that's it, right? So this is going to hurt Sony in the long run, and I don't think that they are prepared for themselves to lose out on a console market as well. Xbox is losing out for their own reasons, but Sony is going to lose out to greed because everyone's going to switch to PC.